G'day beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the three main armor stats in Destiny 2. I'm not going to go super full in depth on this, I'm going to give you quite a lot of information, but considering the fact that I didn't have anyone to help me with some of the things in this video, we're pretty much just going to go over some basic stuff so that you understand what these stats do, and give you a basic understanding of what you want to spec into. So if you go and find this video enjoyable in any way, shape or form, please smash the like button, leave me a comment if you have any questions or you just want to say hello. With that said, let's get started. So first things first, we're going to look at mobility. Now, mobility is something that a lot of people don't understand, I feel. People assume that it means that it increases all your movement speed and all your jumping. Okay, we're not going to go too in depth with this. What I will explain is that the movement speed is for everything bar sprinting. Okay, so as long as you're not sprinting, it is affecting your movement speed. So it affects your walking speed, your strafing speed, and that is it. A lot of people feel like it's a worthless stat because you don't actually gain any sprint speed because they think that that's all it does, but that is the one thing it does not do. So it can be very, very handy in PvP because it allows you to strafe faster. The jumping side of things, it only affects your initial jump, okay? So it does not affect Titan and Warlock gliding, and it does not affect the double jump or the triple jump on a Hunter. It is only the first time you press the jump button that allows you to get a bit more height, which is kind of useless. Especially with the vaulting mechanic that is in the game. We don't tend to have too many instances where you just wish you could have got an extra half a meter out of your jump. So mobility as a whole is very, very good for strafing in PvP. Apart from that, it is kind of useless. Moving on to resilience. This is another thing that people tend to think is either the best stat or absolutely worthless. It's actually somewhere in the middle. So if we take a look at the resilience numbers, with 0 resilience, you actually end up with 186 health. With 5 resilience, you end up with 196 health. And with 10, you end up with 201. So as you can notice, you gain 2 health per resilience until you get to 5 resilience. From there on, you only gain 1 extra health per resilience point. So there's obviously diminishing returns, so I wouldn't recommend going anything over 5 because you're losing out after there. Where I would recommend you go is somewhere around 4. 4 will allow you to take a little bit of extra damage, and as some other people have demonstrated in some videos that I have seen on YouTube, it goes from the point where someone can, with 3 resilience, someone can triple headshot and double body shot you with a miter, whereas with 4, they actually have to land an extra headshot. So it's the starting point as to where the meta guns need to land an extra headshot. So that's a good point of reference. As far as PvE goes, it doesn't really help you that much. I don't feel like it helps very much at all. So those are the numbers on the screen. As I said, I wouldn't go any higher than 5 because you're actually losing out and getting diminishing returns from then on. Lastly, we have recovery, and this is something that I actually have the least amount of data for you on, but it doesn't really matter because recovery is actually the best stat in the game. Alright, while running for recovery, it takes from the moment that my shield starts to regenerate, the white section, it takes 4 seconds for it to fill up. With 7, it actually takes 3 seconds. Now, I didn't actually include any footage in the background of any other numbers, but with 10, it actually only takes 2 seconds. So there is no diminishing returns on recovery. The more you have, the quicker everything works. So if you are 1 shot from death, recovery will decrease the amount of time it takes for your health to start recovering. It will decrease the amount of time it takes your health to fully recover. It will decrease the amount of time it takes for your shield to start recovering, and it will decrease the amount of time it takes for your shield to fully recover. So of all the stats, you actually get more benefit out of running recovery. So what do I recommend as a whole that you run? Well, I would recommend that you definitely run 4 resilience, especially if you're doing PvP, and put the rest into recovery. You can obviously make the argument that a little bit of mobility will help, but as I've said before, it only helps your walking speed, and a little bit of your jumping, so it's really not that big of a deal. In PvE, I don't feel like you really need to worry about it at all. In PvE, I would probably go for 0 mobility, 4 resilience, and everything else into recovery. For PvP, I would probably still go for 4 into resilience, and maybe about 4 into mobility, and then everything else into recovery. But you could definitely go 4 resilience and everything else into recovery. So that's a very basic look at how the stats on armor works in Destiny 2. I know it wasn't super full in depth, but there's just a couple of common misconceptions with the way that the stats work, and I just wanted to make sure that everyone understands how they do actually work. Now that you know that, you will actually be able to notice how much things are being affected, because I notice a lot of my friends sort of upping their mobility and sprinting around and trying to figure out a difference, but that's not how it works. So if you enjoyed this video in any way, shape or form, guys, please smash the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, or if you have any questions whatsoever, please leave them down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But with that said, thank you so much for watching. I love your face, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.